10 Common English Phrasal Verbs with come from espressoenglish.net. Number 1. Come across means to find something by accident. For example, when I was cleaning my room, I came across my middle school diaries. Number 2. Come along means to accompany someone when going somewhere. For example, we're going to get ice cream. Want to come along? Number 3. Come back means return. For example, he's still hoping his ex-girlfriend will come back to him even after all these years. Number 4. Come off. When something becomes separated or unstuck from another thing. For example, the paint is starting to come off the wall in the kitchen. Number 5. Come on. The phrasal verb come on has multiple uses, but when used as an exclamation, it can be encouragement for someone to do something, or it can mean something like stop being ridiculous. For example, I don't want to dance. I'm no good at it. Everyone will laugh at me. Oh, come on. Nobody here cares whether or not you can dance. Number 6. Come out means appear or leave the inside of a place. For example, it's cloudy right now, but the sun should come out later. My little brother is hiding under the covers and doesn't want to come out. Number 7. Come over means come to someone's house. For example, if you come over tomorrow after school, I'll help you with your homework. Number 8. Come through means produce or deliver a result. For example, I thought my favorite basketball team would lose the game, but the offense came through and scored 15 points in the last 5 minutes. Number 9. Come up means appear, often used for when a task or responsibility appears unexpectedly, or when a topic appears in a discussion. For example, I'm sorry I missed your birthday party. Something came up at the last minute and I couldn't go. I thought someone would mention the policy change, but it didn't come up during the meeting. Number 10. Come up with means create or invent something. For example, every time I ask him to do something, he always comes up with a list of excuses for why he can't do it. Do you want to learn phrasal verbs the natural way? Check out the Phrasal Verbs and Conversation course at espressoenglish.net. It will help you learn phrasal verbs easily and naturally in the context of everyday spoken English. Visit espressoenglish.net and check out the Phrasal Verbs and Conversation course. 10 English Phrasal Verbs with Play from espressoenglish.net. One verb in English can be followed by various prepositions to make many different phrasal verbs. So, you might know the basic meaning of the verb play sports, play the piano, etc. But do you know what it means to play at something or play along with something? Today you'll learn 10 different phrasal verbs with the word play. There are also questions to help you form your own sentences and put the phrasal verbs into practice. Let's get started. Play against. We use the phrasal verb play against when two people or two sports teams compete in a game or match. For example, whichever team wins this game will go on to play against Brazil in the championship. Sometimes people eliminate the word against and simply say, Argentina is playing Brazil in the championship. Now put it into practice. Think about a memorable game of your favorite sports team. Who are they playing against at the time? Play along. If you play along, it means you pretend to agree or accept something in order to keep someone happy. For example, I don't like the way my manager conducts our departmental meetings, but I just play along so as not to cause trouble. Now put it into practice. Describe a time when you played along. In general, do you prefer to play along or do you prefer to express your disagreement, and why? Play around. To play around means to be silly, not being serious. For example, "Okay, everybody, let's stop playing around and get to work." Play around can also mean to be sexually promiscuous or unfaithful. For example, she divorced her husband of 30 years after finding out that he was playing around with his secretary. Another phrasal verb for this is messing around. It's an informal way to say doing sexual activities. Now put it into practice. When was the last time you were playing around in a silly way? Play back. We use play back for listening to or watching something you've previously recorded. For example, when I played back the recording of the interview, I noticed there was a lot of background noise from traffic. Now put it into practice. Do you ever record audio or video and play it back later? Play at. If you play at something, it means you pretend to be doing it, or you do it just a little bit, but you don't give very much effort. For example, "He's just playing at writing a book. I don't think he's really serious about it." After play at, we use the ing form of the verb, playing at writing a book. Now put it into practice. Have you ever played at doing something but not really taken it seriously? Or do you know someone else who does this? Play on or play upon. These phrasal verbs mean to try to take advantage of something, especially an emotion. For example, the politician's speech plays on the deepest fears of the voters. Now put it into practice. Think about a movie or book that emotionally impacted you. What feelings does this movie or book play on? You can also use play on to talk about somebody playing on a sports team. In this case, play for can also be used. For example, she plays on the college basketball team in the winter. He's from Portugal, but he plays for the Spanish volleyball team. Play out. The phrasal verb play out describes a situation progressing until the end. For example, "My sister and my mom are mad at each other, but I don't want to take sides. I'll just wait and see how the situation plays out." Now put it into practice. What's a situation where you're currently waiting to see how it plays out? Play up and play down. If you play something up, it means you try to make it seem more important or draw more emphasis to it. And if you play it down, it means you try to make it seem less important or draw less emphasis to it. For example, makeup can help you play up your natural beauty. During the interview, she tried to play down the fact that she was fired from her last job. Now put it into practice. Describe a time when you have tried to play something up or play something down. Play with. To play with something means to touch it and move it for fun, or simply to occupy your hands. For example, the little boys were playing with some action figures. We use this phrasal verb for toys. She plays with her hair when she's nervous. Also, if you are playing with your food, it means you move the food around on your plate and you don't eat very much. Now put it into practice. What toys did you like to play with when you were a child? Phrasal verbs can be really hard to remember since they're all so similar. Play at, play up, play out, etc. If you just try to memorize these phrasal verbs, it'll be very difficult to keep them straight and not confuse them. That's why I encourage you to put the phrasal verbs into practice as much as possible. In my Phrasal Verbs in Conversation course, you'll get a lot of practice. The lessons start with a dialogue showing you how the phrasal verbs are used, and then I explain each one and give more examples. After that, you can take a quiz to review the phrasal verbs and then answer the questions to start using the phrasal verbs in your own English. If you're a student in the course, you can send me your sentences and I'll check and correct them. Visit espressoenglish.net, click on Courses, and look for Phrasal Verbs in Conversation. 18 meanings for 10 phrasal verbs with put from espressoenglish.net. Number 1. Put away means place an object in its proper location. For example, here are your clean clothes, please put them away, meaning put them in the closet, in the dresser, etc. Number 2. Put back means return an object to the location where it came from. This is the opposite of take something out. For example, after you're done using the dictionary, put it back. Number 3. Put down means write on a piece of paper. Sometimes we just say put without down. For example, I'm making a shopping list. I already put down bread, cheese, and butter. What else do we need? Or, I already put bread, cheese, and butter. Put down can also mean to criticize and humiliate someone. For example, every time I try to add something to the conversation, my brother puts me down by saying my opinions are stupid. Finally, put down can mean to kill an animal that is old, sick, or suffering. For example, when our cat got cancer, we decided to put her down. Number 4. Put forth or put forward. To offer an idea, plan, or proposal for consideration. For example, I'd like to put forward a couple of suggestions. Number 5. Put off means to delay doing something, procrastinate. For example, I've been putting off this assignment for the past week. I just can't seem to get started. Put off can also mean to make a bad impression. For example, she seemed unfriendly. Her attitude really put me off. Number 6. Put on. To start wearing or using clothing, makeup, or accessories. For example, she put on her boots and got ready to go out in the rain. Put on can also mean to produce a show or performance. For example, the local theater company is putting on Romeo and Juliet. Finally, put on is a slang word meaning to trick or deceive someone. For example, you won the lottery? No way! You're putting me on, right? Another similar expression is you're kidding or you're joking. Number 7. Put out means to extinguish a fire or cigarette. For electric lights, we use turn off instead. For example, the firefighters quickly put out the fire in the apartment building. Put out can also mean to publish a regular or frequent publication. For example, the organization puts out a monthly newsletter. Finally, put out can mean to inconvenience someone. For example, is it okay if I arrive early? I don't want to put you out in any way. Number 8. Put through means to transfer or connect someone on the telephone. For example, the customer service representative couldn't help me, so he put me through to a manager. Number 9. Put someone up means to give someone a place to stay temporarily at your home. For example, don't worry about finding a hotel. I can put you up for a few days. To put someone up to something means to encourage or persuade the person to do something, often something mischievous. For example, my son is normally very well behaved, but his friends put him up to playing a prank on the teacher. Number 10. Put up with means to tolerate or accept an annoying situation or behavior. For example, I can't put up with all the noise in the dormitory. I need a quieter place to study. To learn 500 phrasal verbs in everyday spoken English, take the Phrasal Verbs and Conversation course, available at espressoenglish.net. You'll learn phrasal verbs easily and naturally in the context of dialogues about everyday topics. Visit espressoenglish.net to take the Phrasal Verbs and Conversation course.